Hello, writers. So today, you're going to need to have your writer's notebook as always and something to write with. And of course, you will need your small moments and the small moments that we've already started writing. And you probably noticed straight away that I have something extra here today. And what I have is a bag of shells. So I was thinking about how when we are scientists, how we look at things very, very closely. And so I wanted to take a moment and take a look at these shells. There's some beach glass in here. Do you see the beach glass? Beach glass is so cool because it has smooth edges because it's been brushed. It's been washing back and forth across the rock so much that it kind of smooths those edges out. So even though it's glass, it's not usually going to cut you. Of course, you always have to be careful. But do you see how it's frosty? The beach glass is frosty. It's not totally clear. It's all scratched up. There's some shiny parts on it too. I love beach glass. Oops, this one didn't come out. This one is my favorite shell from this group. I love how it looks like a unicorn horn. Do you see that? It swirls up. It's got these really cool ridges and lines. It's that lovely creamy white color. It's so beautiful. Oh, that makes me sad. It has a little crack in it right there. I didn't notice that before. These are like the shape of ears, these shells. Do you see that? You can put that on one side of your head, each side of your head, and it'll look like an ear. It's got those ridges. Listen to that. I scrape across it, listen. Sounds a little bit like a zipper. Isn't that pretty? It's so amazing to me how little critters can grow these amazing shells like this that are so pretty. Do you see how it goes from that darker cream color to when you get out it's white? And when you look in the inside, if you put a stick on it, you could eat it, soup with it, like a spoon. It's like a perfect little scoop. Oh, look at this beautiful shell right there. Isn't that elegant? The way it swirls up to that point. Can you see all those little lines on it? Where it's dark brown and then light brown. It keeps on swirling around. There's that little hole in there where some critter used to live. Do you think that a snail lived in there? Or do you think that was a crab? Little hermit crab. Look at this little itty bitty baby shell. Look at that little itty bitty guy. Isn't that amazing? Some little critter at one point lived in that shell before it had to move out to find a different shell. And there's this little tiny, look at that clamshell with those dark brown stripes on it. It amazes me that all these shells, can find them at the beach from all these different critters that lived in these shells and created these shells. Look at that one. It even has a little barnacle right there. So this little guy had another little guy that lived on him for a little while. What do you notice about these shells? Ooh, that one has a little hole in it. Somebody got into that shell and ate it. That's why that little hole's there. Little starfish or something drill a little hole in there. What do you notice about my shells? I'll stop talking for a moment. Will you tell your study buddy the things, look at the underside of that one. The things that you notice about my shells and my sea glass. We're zooming in, taking a really close look at all these beautiful shells that you can find just right on the beach. I bet a lot of you have collected shells before. Maybe on a field trip or maybe sometime with your family you've collected shells. We're zooming in and taking a really close look.
Fred, you coming?
Look how pretty those are.
Frederica, you coming?
There's art right in those shells. I'm gonna put those back in.
Oh, here you are. I'll be back in a minute, Mom.
So today, we're going to be talking a little bit more about things like taking a closer look. We are paying really close attention to those shells. Just like you do in science, we're going to be paying really close attention in writing too. That kind of seeing and paying attention is at the heart of living a writerly life. Today, I want to teach you that when writers want to zoom in on one small moment, to capture it so that readers see it as they do, they magnify it by writing with lots of details. Let me show you what I mean. I'm going to turn to a page in Owl Moon. I could pick any page, so I'll just pick one randomly. Let's see. What page do I want? Oh, I like this one. We reached the line of pine trees, black and pointy against the sky, and Pa held up his hand. I stopped right where I was and waited. He looked up, as if searching the stars, as if reading a map up there. The moon made his face into a silver mask. Then he called, "Hoo-hoo! Hoo-hoo! Hoo-hoo!" The sound of a great horned owl. Say it with me. Hoo-hoo! Hoo-hoo-hoo-hoo! Wow. I have goosebumps, writers. The way Jane has written this, it's as if she held up a magnifying glass to this moment, just like each of you did when you looked at my shells, when you looked so closely at them. She could have written, "We reached the trees, Pa made an owl noise," but that wouldn't have been nearly the same. It wouldn't have had the same effect. So instead, she stretched out this moment with lots and lots of tiny details that allow us to see the scene just as she imagined it. The first thing I notice is how Jane describes the pine trees as black and pointy against the sky. It's like I'm seeing those trees through a magnifying glass, so tall they touch the sky. What else do I see? Oh, there's this part where Pa looks up as if searching the stars, as if reading a map up there. Again, it's like Jane Yolen has magnified the moment for us. I can picture how intently Pa is studying the sky. Can you? I'm going to stop there now. I'm sure we'll be looking at this part again sometime soon because there's so much in it to notice. But right now, it's enough to study how Jane magnifies the details she notices so that her reader can see them too. Now I'm going to go ahead and take a look at my writing. So if I were to do like Jane does, and like what we as scientists do, I could try to write my own small moment by looking at it through an imaginary magnifying glass. Let me do that and think about what I might add. So here's the second page of my piece about Freddie and her howl. So right here, can you see that right there? Freddie Yard. So that was the second part that I was talking about. Freddie Yard. She looked at us so frisky. I looked at Guinevere and Jude and had an idea. There aren't very many details. What does it look like when Freddie looks at us frisky? I think I can add some things. One thing that she does when she's feeling frisky, I'm going to put a little caret here. That caret tells me that I'm adding something right there. She tilted her head and huffed at us. When Freddie huffs, she goes, like that. And that means she wants to play. So I'm gonna put some talking marks around it, quotation marks, and say, huh, huh. She looked at us so frisky. She tilted her head and huffed at us. Okay, I wonder if there's anything else I could add here. I looked at Guinevere and Jude and had an idea. I looked at Guinevere and Jude and had an idea. I wonder what else I could add there. My look, what did I look at them with? I looked at Guinevere and Jude and had an idea. I smiled mischievously. And playfully. At them. Ooh, okay, so now my writing has changed. She looked at us so frisky. She tilted her head and huffed at us. I looked at Guinevere and Jude and had an idea. I smiled mischievously and playfully at them. Ooh, that made there be a lot more interesting stuff in there. Do you think that's more clear, writers? Does that give you a better idea of what that moment was like at our house, in our backyard, when Freddie was trying to get us to play with her? I feel like it did. So, writers, it's your turn to try this with your own writing. So you need to open up your book to the page where you started writing your small moment. So find a part of your story that's a little bit bare right now, that could use a magnifying for your reader. Think about that moment just like we thought about these shells, where we looked at the tiny details inside the shells, around the shells, on the shells. Take a moment and hold a magnifying glass up to this moment, a page that looks a little bare to you, that can use some more details. So right now, writers, you're looking through your writer's notebook at your story and finding that spot. Once you find it, think about it and whisper it to your study buddy. What do you think you can add? Now your job today, writers, is to add those details to a part of your page. If you want to do more than one page, you can. I just worked on one part of my story right now, and you'll have more chances to do more. But right now, today, I want you to make some changes. Hold that magnifying glass a little bit closer. Make your story a little more clear. And when you've added some details, take a picture of it and share it with me. I can't wait to read what you have written. It's such an exciting time, writers.